Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We've got ourselves what should be a good one here, a bot author recommended replay. And yes, we've got Buckshot taking on Eris in a PvZ. Glad to have more of these PvZ, ZVP matchups, as we do get a lot of TVT on the channel, which I definitely enjoy myself. Personally, I could watch bot games till the end of time. It doesn't matter the matchup, but I do worry about what you guys think as far as the matchups, because personally I'm more interested in like the individual bots. It doesn't really matter the matchup. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think on that, whether you do have preferred matchups in bots, or you can be one of those people who balance whines in the comments about bots. That's always an interesting take. But yeah, as always, click that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot matches, and then subscribe if you haven't already, as I put out daily videos here on the channel. And yeah, we do have a bot author recommended replay, so this should be a good one, as I do appreciate it. Everyone that does take the time to send in cool replays. And yes, you may be wondering which bot Buckshot is. I'm not sure I've cast it on the channel before, but Buckshot, as per its description, is a limited version of -0. The counter tables have been set to only allow 1 or 2 unit combinations, along with some support units for detection when needed. Currently enabled, Oracle Zealot, Disrupt. These are individual things, so Oracle/Zealots, Disruptors, Phoenix/Zealots, Void Rays, Zealots, Stalkers, and Adepts. So -0, but with some restrictions on it. Now, we do get a proxy gateway, which is very interesting. I don't think that's something we see very often from -0, so it's going to be a bit of a Buckshot special here. And yeah, truth be told, I did try casting a Buckshot game before, and I sort of just looked at the start and perused through it, and it was a little underwhelming, because turns out like the oracles are difficult, I think. But the fact that this was a recommended game makes me think we're going to have some interesting things going on here with this mono adept strategy. Adepts are a very powerful unit in bot games, as of course they can pretty much be in 2 places at once. And then there is a fair few adepts already on the way for Buckshot. It's got 2 gateways in the main, plus that 1 proxy gate. Warp gate is almost done, and Eris is going to be facing some pressure. There's no burrow for it to just burrow its lings to keep them safe, but very cool. We do have Eris sort of already sussing this out. It hasn't seen the proxy, but I guess it must have sent in something to scout, because it's got a feeling that there is aggression coming its way, and it has produced a whole ton of lings in order to respond to this. Who knows, maybe Eris is planning just a ling flood, and these two are going to face off, but the adepts are rolling on up towards the natural of Eris. We have a fair few of them staying on the queens, but then 2 do complete the shade towards the natural base. And then they can potentially shade to the main. The lings do get a surround on one of the adepts, however, they're already splitting up. Looks like these 2 do complete the shade in the main. Drone mining is already being interrupted as they try and avoid those adepts, which is very, very costly for Eris, as Buckshot just keeps throwing on in more and more adepts. And this is quite concerning for Eris, because not only is Buckshot getting some damage done here, but it's also got a better economy. It's got 39 workers back at home on 2 bases versus a Zerg that's also on 2 bases, but at 27 workers. So we'll see if Eris can potentially slap down more of these adepts and then macro up strongly behind this. It does get a nice surround on a few of them. Buckshot does have +1 on the way, and a Twilight Council as well, so we can get some resonating glaive adepts. That's a different beast entirely, as it really helps out versus those lings. And then we do have a Robo on the way as well for Buckshot, but now Buckshot will be on the defensive. It has to warp in a Adept. Eris actually turns around with its Lings because Buckshot did send in 3 more Adepts on the other side of the map. Looks like they're trying to pad through those minerals, but they cannot fit. They shall now shade into the natural, still denying more mining time. Eris's mining time will be plummeting with these Adepts, denying literally half of its mining. Lings have found this gateway that's being attacked. The pylon could be unpowered, however, the Lings are splitting their attack, so these 2 Adepts may actually save this, which is a big deal. This game is quickly turning into a nightmare to observe, as we have Adepts all over the place being chased by Lings. Buckshot does keep that gateway and pylon alive, which is a big deal. +1 is on the way. No Resonating Glaives has started for Buckshot, though. It does have the money to do that. Builds an Observer. It's still putting out more and more Adepts as they go for yet another shade into the natural base of Eris. Eris now has Burrow, so it can just burrow those drones to keep them safe. At the same time, that's still costly as far as... Yeah, that's still costly as far as lost mining time. So Lings are doing a great job on creep, getting a wraparound on these Adepts again and again. We do get +2 on the way for Buckshot. However, still no Resonating Glaives, which is arguably more important for Adepts than +2. We'll see if these Adepts can potentially save this pylon or gateway, or whether it will be kaput. We do have Eris now planting Lings at possible expansions. This one will be cleaned on up as Buckshot plans on going for more bases so it can build more Adepts. Eris is just trying to squeeze out a 3rd base. We do actually have 2 Robos from Buckshot, going up to a ton of Observers here, which will potentially help with clearing out creep, that kind of thing. And then there's just Adepts and units all over the place for Buckshot. If we look at its vision, it's just ridiculous. More Adepts being thrown on in. If we can get a like for every dead Adept in this game, I think we'd be in a pretty good spot, as Adepts do try and kill a Roach now. The +1 attack actually does help out with that. The +2 will help out with that, but still no Resonating Glaives from Buckshot. No 3rd base either, as that base was cleaned out, but a new Ling was planted there, so that's problematic for the red Protoss. Meanwhile, Eris is slowly climbing in that drone count, but the Adept count is a little formidable right now as well, as there's 9 just poking on the front lines, and it's so difficult to program a response to this, because, like, how do you handle it? Because the Adepts can cancel the shade at any time, and you don't want to be caught out of position with your units. Eris even pulling the drones to fight the Adepts is a really cool touch. It's got very good calculations for that. Fortunately, there's no Observer in this main, as these drones are staying safe from the burrow. The Adepts, though, do then shade towards the natural. The 3rd base for Eris is starting to be mined at, as some drones think, okay, maybe this location is a little bit safer, but then Buckshot is instantly sending Adepts up there, so it is just going to continue this harassment with Adepts. It's non-stop Adepts. We've had 52 dead Adepts this game, 22 dead drones as a result of that, and the Adepts are still killing some more off. There is an Observer present. I'm not sure. Yes, Eris does have 2 Overseers, so those Observers don't have free reign or anything like that. Meanwhile, Buckshot still has yet to get up a 3rd base. Looks like there is multiple probes trying to make that happen here, but Eris has got value out of that burrowed Ling play, and Buckshot is just focused on the aggression, throwing out more and more Adepts here towards the natural of Eris. Eris burrows its drones to keep them safe. It does unburrow them, seemingly in error that time, or pardon me, no, not in error, because an Observer showed up in order to, and so the drones had to change from just hiding underground to actually running, and that's just very good Observer usage from Buckshot. There is another Observer just cruising around. +3 attack is on the way for Buckshot. Eris so far has denied the 3rd base, which is a big deal because eventually Buckshot will start to mine out here, whereas Eris is still keeping a lid on it. Like, it's easy to talk about how Buckshot's doing a good job of handling these, or pardon me, getting these Adepts all over the place, but then Eris is doing a good job staying on top of them for the most part. It's just so difficult when there's like 14 Adepts out. That's a lot of Adepts per base that can just be constantly shooting or shading around, and they're constantly poking on the front lines here, tossing out shades as soon as an opportunity presents itself. They do complete that. We do get more Observers on the way for Buckshot. I guess it has been losing some in this process. Eris is building up a decent Roach count now. Buckshot does eventually get a 3rd base up, so good programming there. A little bit late to clear that out, but it definitely was hiccuped by the fact that Eris replanted Ling there. The third base mining is still being interrupted. That's really nice for Buckshot, keeping Eris effectively on 2 bases. The Protoss is on 52 probes, whereas Eris is struggling along at 33 drones. The Roaches can burrow to run away from the Adepts, so they're probably not going to die. I don't think we can say the same for the drones. There is presently 10 Roaches out, which is a lot of muscle in order to handle these Adepts, but it's just the matter of getting them to the right place, as Buckshot is everywhere with these units. Queens have been doing a good job staying on top of it, but there's the Adepts now shading towards the natural. Drones do burrow to stay alive, and it's just incredible programming here because Buckshot canceled half of those Adepts, so it really just does a good job as far as just seeing the best opportunity and making it happen. I don't even know how you go about programming such Adept usage, but it really is on point in here, as they're just everywhere non-stop. Eris, with its unlimited APM, is struggling to keep up with this, and that's just the mechanics of the Adepts being used perfectly. We're about to have +3 on them as well, whereas Eris has no attack upgrades, and that is definitely problematic for the Zerg. Fortunately, Adepts are units that don't benefit the most from attack upgrades. It's still, I don't think it changes like the shooting math on too many engagements, but here we go. Still more Adepts all over the place. Eris is at 10 Roaches still, just trying to squeeze out more drones. It does seem to be cleaning out maybe some more of these Adepts. Buckshot is now even getting +1 armor on the way. We didn't see Resonating Glaives yet, though, which is very, very bizarre. I mean, it definitely would help out Buckshot and potentially would kill off Eris. The Adepts are still doing very well, all things considered. But, yeah, let's see. They're still all over the place. I have no idea how long this is going to go on for. We do have a single Ling counterattacking. However, it is... Apologies about that. My PayPal account was hacked, so I just had to get in contact with the bank, and they finally called me back. But right back into the action, as it's just Adepts everywhere. Like, Buckshot. That's the first time I've actually made that mistake. I've caught myself every time so far. Is at 16 Adepts, whereas Eris is still just trying to defend with these Roaches. I think it's losing some Lings, losing lots of drones for sure, trying to make this defense happen. And then we're even getting +1 armor on the way for Buckshot, which is just going to improve things. And then we do have these Adepts still shading everywhere, no mining going on at this third base, as Eris is just neither here nor there with trying to defend. It does eventually squeeze out a 4th base, which, who knows, maybe Buckshot will not spread the Adepts across 4 bases. Overall supply, though, things are really, really growing for the Protoss. And I think Eris just needs to produce more Roaches at this point, because they're the units that are not actually dying to these Adepts, since they can retreat, and Adepts have relatively low single-fire target damage versus them. And so the Roaches really are important, but then we are getting more drones, more Queens, more Lings for Eris, but no more Roaches, which I think is definitely a missed opportunity. We'll see whether the Zerg can hold on. It is now contending with that +1 armor, mining at the very important third base being disrupted. That third hatchery even taking a lot of damage now and potentially going to fall. The +3 does help those Adepts. We're even getting a 4th base on the way for Buckshot now. Drones still not mining at the natural. Maybe Eris will be able to get mining going up at that 4th base, but now the 3rd has gone down. So this is just catastrophic for Eris, and I do really think that not building more Roaches is a mistake here from Eris. It's just been building Queens and Lings, whereas Roaches clearly in this situation are the golden unit for defense. We do have Buckshot adding in more observers. It's probably lost quite a few, 15 this game. That pales in comparison to the number of Adepts that have died. I think we're just starting to see this snowball, though, as the upgrades have gradually got better. Then Eris has just slowly been unable to keep this going. The Roaches don't kill these units quick enough. And yeah, just really well done here by Buckshot, as it's killed that 3rd base. The 4th base is in trouble. There's pretty much no mining going on for Eris. Now it's broke as a joke. The Adepts are even looking to kill some of these Roaches. So nothing is safe in this game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this match, click that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We actually get the GG from Eris saying it's over, man. And yeah, I can't disagree with that one. Well done by Buckshot.